Okay, so today what we're going to do is talk about right triangle trig. So Common Core standard is right triangle trigonometry. It has a fancy name. Trigonometry, which stands for three sides, which is a triangle, right? So what we want to do is this. Before we even talk about this worksheet, I'm going to flip it over, move it aside, and draw a triangle. Okay, here's the key to everything. Let's just draw a triangle, okay? Just want you to watch. First of all, it has to be a right triangle, okay? Because we're talking about right triangle trig. Must be a right triangle, okay? So everything starts with the angle. So what I'm going to do is just make up a number, okay? So let's say I call this 40 degrees, all right? Everything starts from the angle. What we need are these names, like opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. These are the names we need. We've got to somehow come up with these names from the angle, right? So if I start with this angle, I don't care, call it angle A, call it angle P, doesn't really matter, but let's start with the angle, okay? This is my angle that I'm going to use. Then this longest side is always the hypotenuse. Everybody knows that. The longest side is always the hypotenuse. That's the name of that side, and we need that when it talks about, sine or cosine, we need the hypotenuse, all right? From the angle, this side all the way across from the side is called the opposite side. So I'll label it the opposite side, all right? This side right next to it is called the adjacent. Now, it has two sides that are next to it, but this one already has a name. It's called the hypotenuse, so this one's called the adjacent. Okay, we need to name the sides from the angle. You pick the angle. From the angle, you realize that that's its opposite side, that's the adjacent side, and of course, that's the hypotenuse. Once we know something about those three sides, we can figure out which trig ratio we're going to use. Now, does it matter which angle you pick? Absolutely it does. If I take a look at the triangle again and have a 50-degree angle, I just use the other angle, then my opposite side changes. Because from the angle, that's directly opposite of it, right? This becomes the adjacent side because from the angle, this is next to it, which is the adjacent side. Now the hypotenuse will never change. The hypotenuse is always the longest side. It's always the side opposite the 90, so that's my hypotenuse. So as long as we know what the names are, we can set up the correct trig ratio, and we can do a lot of things with trig, okay? Everybody good on how we name the sides? Yes. We need three names. We need either the hypotenuse, opposite, or adjacent, but everything depends on the angle. We never use the 90. We never use the 90, okay? Don't use the 90 because none of this stuff will work, okay? So, let's move back to our notes. So, number one, we want to name all 6 trig ratios from the triangle, okay? So we've got the 3 sides. We just need an angle. So always start with the angle. Michaela, pick A or B. I don't care. One of the 2 angles. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Which angle do you want? A. Good. Don't pick C. Angle A. So I'm going to circle angle A. So what she's done is she now has made the 15s are opposite side, right? Directly opposite is the 15. So this is my opposite side. 36 is my adjacent side, right? And then the 39 is my hypotenuse, okay? Great. Now, what I want all 6 trig ratios is a fraction. So I'm just going to set fraction. The word ratio means fraction in math. So I'm going to set up all my trig ratios, my trig fractions. So let's start off with sine, okay? So let's go sine of angle A. Now, of course, up here it says theta. Theta is just a fancy symbol for angle, okay? Theta, this whole theta thing, that means angle, all right? Put that in your little margin. That this symbol theta, this symbol theta just means angle, okay? That's all. And we're going to talk about angle A, so it's sine of A, okay? So sine of A, let's see, sine is opposite of hypotenuse. So in this case, it's going to be the 15 over the 39. It's that easy. So we're going to write 15 over 39. That's the ratio. That's the answer, okay? Okay, we went all 6, so how about cosine of A? Well, cosine, let's look up here. Cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, right? So the adjacent side is my 36, and my hypotenuse is 39. So it's just 36 over 39. Tangent of A, let's see, tangent, let's look above. Tangent is the opposite over the adjacent, right? According to what's up there. So the opposite is 15 over 36. Totally right. 15 over 36. Now we want all 6. So what we're going to add today that we didn't in geometry is we're going to add the cofunctions. We're going to add the cosecant, the secant, and the cotangents, all right? So let's also do then the cosecant of angle A. Cosecant of angle A, well, let's see. Cosecant is the hypotenuse over the opposite, okay? So in this case, and it's also the opposite sine, so it's 39 over 15. We won't use cosecant very often. In fact, hardly ever in here, okay? Cosine, and then secant is the opposite of the cosine, so it's the hypotenuse over the adjacent. So we're just going to rewrite this as 39. So we're going to go write this as secant of A. It's just the opposite of the cosine, which is going to be the hypotenuse, which is 39, over the adjacent, which is 36. That's it. Okay, and then the cotangent of angle A, yeah, it's just going to be the opposite of tangent, which is 36 over 15. Totally right, Alondra. Okay, 36 over 15. Not hard. You guys agree? Not hard at all. Okay. Now, how do we use trig? Okay. Well, let's first of all look at it in terms of our 30, 60, 90 triangle. Okay. So if it's a special right triangle, what I need to know is a little bit of information about it. I don't know any sides at all, right? But I have all of the special right triangles up there, right? So let's write that down. I know that in a 45, 45, 90, I've got an x squared is 2, right? Remember that from geometry? So if I want the sine of 45, let's see, sine is, I'll pick that 45. They're both 45, right? Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, which is an x over an x squared of 2, right? X over x squared is 2. But that's a weird answer. X over x squared is 2. But I can cancel the x's, right? So I should get an answer of really 1 over the square root of 2, okay? Well, that's not a very good answer. You guys know that. Can we fix that answer? How do we fix that answer? Yeah. Square root of 2, square root of 2. Good job, Michaela. So we wind up with really the square root of 2 over 2. That is the sine of 45, all right? Cosine of 45. Let's see what's cosine of 45. Cosine of 45 is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent over hypotenuse, which is x over x squared root of 2. Hey, I just did that one, didn't I? So I just shortcut that too. I know the answer. I just did that one, right? Square root of 2. Square root of 2. Sorry, it's so sloppy. Square root of 2 over 2. Okay, good. Tangent of 45, okay? Tangent of 45. Let's see. Tangent's going to be the opposite of the adjacent. Yeah, x over x. X over x is correct, but that can change to 1 over 1 or 1. Wow, you want to see something really weird? Tangent 45. Wow, I'm so smart I can do trig without a calculator. So are you. Cool. Now, the 30, 60, 90 triangle we'll do later. That's part of your homework, okay? Okay, we'll come back to that one, okay? But when we do it, we've got the x, the 2x, and the x squared root of 3, okay? Right? Yeah. And, of course, talus, they're right there, too, aren't they? Yeah. But we'll talk about that one later, okay? All right, now, here comes the important stuff. Seriously. Here's where, if you don't pay attention, you're in trouble. Now is the time to pay attention. How do you use right triangle trig? It is used a bunch in the real world. It really is. I mean, whether your dad's or mom's a builder, a contractor, anywhere you can see a right triangle, right angle, you can use right triangle trig, okay? So let's see. Find the missing sides and angles. So what I did is I wrote a little script up here that's going to help us. Now, if you want to, when I get done, if you want to write that down in your notes, you can. I taught this to you last year, so I didn't copy it, but I put it up there, okay? So how does it work? So right off the bat, if I look at this problem, what I know in this problem is I know an angle, don't I? I know one of the acute angles. I know the 38, okay? So if I know an acute angle, I want to use these steps, okay? Step 1, though, says, okay, let's do it. Step 1, use the known acute angle. So what I'm going to do is I know the 38, so I'm going to circle it, okay? Circle it. Step 1, use the known acute angle, okay? Circle it. Step 2, use the given side. Well, the given side is my 12. Now, the name of that side is the hypotenuse, okay? Well, so the name of the side is the hypotenuse. That's what I want. I want to give it a name, but the name I want to give it has to be with one of those names up there, okay? Step number 3, choose a side to solve for. So I either can find little I or little p. So the sides are named by the angle. Angle I, little I. Angle P, little p. Does that make sense? Angle G, little g. Okay, so I can either solve for I or p, little I or little p. It doesn't matter. Lane, I or p. Which one do you want?
I.
It is. I, it is. Okay, so circle I. What is the name of this side? Don't say I. As far as those words, what's the name of this side? It is the opposite. You guys agree? Because here's the angle that we chose, and the little I is directly opposite. So here's what I have. I'm going to work with my opposite side, my hypotenuse. So I have to look up and set the correct trig ratio. So I look up above. Which one of those ratios have the opposite and the hypotenuse? Sine. You guys agree? See it? Opposite hypotenuse is sine. So we're going to set up sine of theta. But we're not really going to say theta because theta is our angle, okay? Theta means angle, so I'm going to go sine of 38 degrees. Okay, does that make sense? Sine of theta, theta is the angle. Sine of 38 is equal to, well, you have to put it in the exact order. Opposite over the hypotenuse. You have to put it in the right order. Opposite. So the opposite side is little I over the hypotenuse, which is 12, okay? Now, what I want to do is solve. So it says cross multiply. Well, anytime I want to solve for anything, if it says I divided by 12, if I want to solve it, just multiply by 12, right? Times by 12, times by 12, or I just multiply the 12 up, and I'll have 12 times the sine of 38 degrees equals I. Okay, now I'm ready to use my calculator. Write this down. Everybody, write this down. Degree mode. Write that down. Anytime you push sine, cosine, or tangent, you have to check your mode in your calculator, okay? You have to. So if I go to my calculator, and I look at it, it should say degree. Now if you don't have a calculator, you guys probably ought to grab a calculator. Everybody needs a calculator, okay? And I don't know if we have enough for everybody, but you need a calculator. So make sure you go to your mode. Becca's back. Good. Thanks, Becca. Are you feeling okay? And we may have to share. So the first thing, if you're in radian mode, if your mode's in radian, you will do every problem right but get every problem wrong. If you're in radian mode, you'll do every problem right but get every answer wrong. Radians are up there. We're not doing those. Radians are up there on the board. Radians come from that circle thing, pi thingy, but we're not doing those. We're doing degrees. Make sure you are in degree mode, everybody, okay? Now,
wait, how do we get there?
So hit mode. See the mode button right there?
Yeah.
Mode button, push mode.
Okay, got it.
And then make sure you go down. Blinking on degree, hit highlight, enter, and it should be highlighted on degree. Everybody good there? Grace, one more time. I hit the mode button right there. Mode, push the mode. Mode. Go down to degree and push enter. You got it? Okay, now let's use our calculator. Okay, quit. So let's go ahead and type in our calculator exactly what it says. We are going to go 12 times sine of 38 close parentheses. Okay? Because that's what I'm telling my calculator to do is 12 times sine of 38. Enter. Okay, what do I get? About 7.4, right? 7.4, we'll round it up to about 7.4. So I have a little I equals 7.4. Does that answer make sense? I think so. If this side's 12, which has to be the longest side, this could be 7.4. That makes sense to me, okay? Good. All right, now, I know little I is 7.4, but there's two more things I don't know in the triangle. I don't know little p, and I don't know angle p. So let's figure out what those are. Let's find little p. Let's find side p. So what I'm going to do to find side p is, first of all, I'm going to erase my circle there. and I'm going to circle side P, okay? So if I want to find side P, then let's see, I have my angle, I have my known side, I went through my steps, use my angle, I got 38, use my known side, that's my 12, my hypotenuse, choose a side to solve for, let's solve for little p. Now what's the name of little p?
Adjacent.
It is the adjacent, you guys agree? It's the adjacent side because it's right next to my angle. So which trig function should I use? Let's see, we're going to use adjacent hypotenuse. Adjacent hypotenuse. It is cosine, isn't it? So let's set up cosine. So we'll go cosine of my angle. Cosine of 38 is equal to, well, adjacent over hypotenuse. So it says adjacent over hypotenuse, which is going to be the p over the 12. Okay. And then, what do? Multiply it up. So we have 12 times the cosine of 38 equals little p. And use my calculator, right? Just use the calculator. Just type it in just like it says that. Okay. Slide over so you guys can see it. I'm just going to go 12 times the cosine of 38. And about 9.45, right? 9.5. Sure. I'm going to go 4.5, but I would take 9.5. I would take that, fine. Now, there's one more thing I need to find. That's angle P. All right. Let's go back to geometry. How would I find angle P?
Minus 90 and 38.
Yes. Completely correct. That's, 100% correct. That's the long way. I'm going to do it a shorter way, okay? Totally right, Lane. I'm just subtract from 90 because I know that these two have to add up to 90. Does that make sense? These two must add up to 90. You could do it the way you did, though. Subtract them all from 180. I'm just going to go 90 minus 38, and I'm going to get 52. So angle P is equal to 52 degrees. Good job, Lane. But I'm going to just, you see how it's a little bit shorter to do it that way? Okay, good. You got it, right? Okay, now let's look at example 4. Example 4 is a little bit different. But let's go through example 4 again, all right? So step by step. Okay, thumbs up. Thumbs sideways, thumbs down. Where you at? Okay, all right, let's keep going. So step 1, what's it say? Step 1. So what's the angle I know? Circle it. Step 2, which is what? What's the name of that side? It is the opposite, isn't it? Isn't it called the opposite because it's directly opposite the angle? So it's the opposite. Okay. I have a little t or a little a, it doesn't really matter. Gosh, I don't know. Haley, what do you want to solve? Little a or little t, it does not matter. Little a, okay, good. So Haley's going to choose for little a. So from the angle, what's the name of that side? Don't say little a. I want one of these names. What's the name of little a? Adjacent. You guys agree? Adjacent, because it's next to it. Adjacent. All right, so let's see what we have. I am going to work with the opposite and the adjacent, opposite, adjacent. Which one of these am I going to use? Tangent. You guys agree? So it says tangent of theta, but that means just the angle, so it's tangent of 55. It has to be the opposite over the adjacent, so it's going to be 42 over my little a. Okay, now, I'm going to do a little trick on the board. I just want you to watch, okay? If I cross multiply, don't write this down. If I cross multiply, I'll bring the a up. Multiply the a up. I'll have a times the tangent of 55 equals 42. You okay with that? But I haven't solved for a yet. I brought the a up, but I haven't solved it. Now this is just a number in the calculus. A times tangent 55. To solve for a, we divide. We're just going to divide. Just going to divide by tangent of 55. Cancel. Divide by tangent of 55. So when the variable is in the bottom, an easy trick is to bring it up and divide by the trig function. So to shortcut what I just did, okay, I just want you to see, so to shortcut with variables on the bottom, I'll bring up the a up here, and I'll bring the tan of 55 down there, and I'll go a is equal to 42 divided by the tangent of 55. And I'll divide. I'm just going to use my calculator, type it in the calculator just like that. So I'm just going to go, all right, I'm going to go 42 divided by tangent of 55, and I get an answer about 29.4. 29.4. Does that answer make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, I think if this side's 42, this side could be a little bit smaller. Sure, 29.4 makes sense to me, okay? All right, great. Now, we have two more things to solve for. Let's find little t. So I'm going to circle little t, erase that. So what would be the name of this side, side t? What's the name of that? Hypotenuse. Don't say t, hypotenuse. Yes, hypotenuse, okay? So again, use the given acute angle, use the given side, choose the side to solve for t, set up the correct trig ratio. So now we're working with the opposite and the hypotenuse, right? Which one is it? Okay, sine, right? So we'll set up sine of 55 is equal to the opposite, which is going to be my 42, over my hypotenuse, which is t. Okay, we've got the same problem. We've got the t in the bottom, right? So we're going to divide. If we were to multiply by t and divide by sine of 55, what we'd end up doing is really going t is equal to 42 divided by sine of 55. Okay, I'm going to use my calculator. I'm going to go 42 divided by sine 55, close my parentheses, and I get about a 51.3, okay? 51.3, squeeze it in there, okay? So here's the moral of the story. When the variable's on the bottom, divide. I'll say it again. When the variable is on the bottom, divide. I'll say that one more time. When the variable's on the bottom, divide, okay? When the variable is on the top, we just multiply, okay? All right, now there's two more things to find, or one more thing to find on this side, on this angle. What are we going to do? Angle A. How do we find angle A? Angle A, what do we do? Garrett, how do I find angle A? We're going to go 90 minus 55. We're going to subtract from 90, right? And we get 25? 35, right? 35 degrees. Okay. Ready to turn the page? Okay, I'll wait for you, okay? It all comes down to getting the right names, right? You guys agree? But it all starts with the angle you pick. Pick your angle, decide the names, okay? Turn it. Oh, I'm so sorry, Grace. All right, there we go. Okay, backside. Okay, example 5. Here we go. So, it's a lot of words, but before you freak out about story problems, remember it's called right triangle trig, right? So all we have to do is figure out a right triangle and solve it. So let's read the question. So a builder is constructing a wheelchair ramp. The height is 18 inches, and the angle of the ground must be 4.8 degrees. What would be the length of the ramp? So let's draw a picture, okay? So if I draw a ramp, 18 inches, 4.8 degrees, and let's call this R for the ramp, right? So all I really need to do is just draw a right triangle. Make sure you know where everything goes. 18 inches has to be the height, right? 4.8 is the angle, and there's my ramp. Okay, so same stuff. Step 1, pick an angle. Which angle are you going to pick? Obviously the 4.8. You guys agree? Step 2, use the given side. Let's use the 18. What is the name of that side, though? It's the opposite. Choose the side to solve for. Well, we got to find the ramp, right? So let's choose the ramp. And what's the name of that side? Don't say R. It's the hypotenuse, right? Okay, so we're working with the opposite and the hypotenuse. Which trig ratio? Sine. So it's sine of theta, or better yet, it's going to be sine of 4.8 equals the opposite over the hypotenuse, which is the 18 over R. Okay, now, if the variable's on the bottom, we divide. 2 more times. If the variable's on the bottom, we divide. If the variable's on the bottom, we divide. Let's do that, okay? So we're going to go R is equal to 18 divided by sine of 4.8, right? Oh, you already get the answer?
Wow.
Okay.
New year.
215.1. Did you divide?
Just add like a couple hundred to that, Michaela. Yeah, literally.
Hey,
Good job.
I commend Michaela for trying and working hard. Nice job. Okay, last problem. Example 6, sorry. So in example 6, what's going to happen is we're going to have the park ranger is going to sight from his eye. It doesn't say that, but the situation is really, the park ranger is going to take a measurement. So he's stand up, taking a measurement. So when we draw the triangle is going to be taken from his eyeball. So let's draw a picture. Let's make park ranger. Okay, give him a nice hat because he's a park ranger. Give him a cool hat.
Pretty good hat.
Yeah. They always wear shorts, don't they?
Yeah.
Give him some styling looking shorts. Little peg leg there. Put a big smile on his face because he's a park ranger. He's not a teacher.
I'm gonna sell your art one
I was feeling some bit of.
Is that the new Picasso?
So, Old Faithful. Here's Old Faithful. Spewing hot water into the air. Okay. So when he takes a picture, or if he sights it from his eye. So the triangle, in a sense, is suspended. I mean, if we draw it out, it's really suspended from his eye. So the triangle that we're going to solve for is really 5 feet above the ground, okay? So when we get done, we're going to have to add in the 5 feet, because we're going to find this F for faithful, right? Find F for faithful. We've got an angle of 34.6 degrees, right? This distance is 200, but it's also 200 here, right? I mean, the 200 there, we just moved the triangle up. That's all we did, okay? Now, when we find F, which we will, when we get done, we'll add in the 5, right? When we find F, we'll add in the 5, we'll have the total height, okay? So, step 1, pick an angle. Well, how about that one, right? Step 2, use the given side, the 200. What's the name of that side? It is adjacent. Good. Pick a side to solve for. Well, how about F, huh? So what's the name of this side? Don't say F. What's the name of this side?
Opposite.
Opposite. So we are going to use opposite, adjacent, tangent. Right? So let's go tangent of theta, but theta is our angle, 34.6 degrees is equal to opposite over adjacent, which is F over 200, okay? Now, if the variable's on the top, multiply. Here we multiply this time. So we're going to multiply by 200, bring it up here. But 200 times the tangent of 34.6 equals F. Let's just use our calculator, right? Tangent. Oh, Claire, hold on. 200 times the tangent of 34.6, close parentheses, and I get an answer about 138, really. We'll round up 138. Okay with that? So F is about 138, okay? Great. I've got 138, but 138 is from, you looking? Is from here to here. Let's add in the 5, right? Let's add in the 5. So if we add in the 5 feet, go plus 5, what's that, 143? 143 feet. Okay. All right. Not too bad. So today's homework, okay?